And a magnificent Monday morning to each and every one of you. This is A21 from Black Roses Garden Community Radio with your first live today. Your first live has to do with citizenship. Now, as I want to remind you yet again, that being a citizen is a job that will yield tremendous dividends when we take it seriously and we work at it. On January the 6th, everybody witnessed what happens when we don't appreciate having the freedom to do that job, or when we flat out just don't do it. I was listening to the news this morning, as I do every morning, and I hate the word hate, but I hate that there are folks in both houses of Congress still sitting there taking our money, because we pay their salary, who are involved in violation of their oaths, the oaths that they took on January 2nd. And I hate that. The constituents in two of the states, even three states, because Alabama's calling for Mo Brooks' resignation, just as Missouri is calling for Josh Hawley to resign, and as newspapers in Texas are calling for Ted Cruz to resign. But I also want to remind you guys that while the impeachment starts tomorrow, and it has to happen, I don't care that the mainstream media is parroting what Republicans in Congress are saying, that that they want to move past this, and get on with the business of the country. With all due respect, Republicans have not been concerned with the business of this country, for real, since 2012. Ain't been concerned. Even before that, 2010, ain't been concerned. So we have to rise up and take our job as citizen as seriously as is needed at this point in time. Just want to go back, a point of clarification. Half of the country, because I keep hearing half of the country is against the other half of the country. No, it's not. Pay attention to the numbers and I'm getting polled too, so pay attention to the numbers. Almost 80% of this country is behind the plan to save us. The $1.9 trillion package that has been proposed. We have to call our elected officials on the Hill, because this is a federal thing, and let them know that we support that. We support them. They need to push for it. We're not in a position to say, well, to cut it by 2/3. It's very easy for folks who are making $174,000 and who are going to get it regardless to say you don't need $3,000 a year as a deduction for your child. You don't need money to go to the grocery store. You don't need any relief on your rent or your utilities. It's very easy for somebody who is going to have that direct deposit going in no matter what, for them to say what you don't need. You have to speak up and tell them, I need my stuff. Y'all need to get up off of it. And you need to get up off of it, or I will make it my business to make sure that if you are on the ballot, you ain't going to get a whole lot of votes. I will make that my mission. So we have to call those folks on the Hill and let them know how we feel. Now, that's as it relates to the stimulus. The impeachment hearing does start tomorrow. Please don't get distracted with the minutia. It's a whole bunch of crap flying back and forth, and it'll probably make for good television. But what I would recommend that you do, because we know what's happening, and you can throw that in your comment when you call your elected official. You can say, accountability has to happen, because I don't care what anybody says. We cannot have unity if we don't have accountability. And granted, it's mostly on the Republican side that this disunity is being pushed and promoted. And of course, they're pointing at, well, you guys said that you all wanted us to be unified. So I'll unite with you if you do things my way. No. Lindsey Graham and your whole cadre of people, kiss my ass till Christmas starting December 26th. That's what has to happen. We have to push past those folks who will continue to keep their knee on our neck because they aren't suffering. It's too many people out here suffering, and it's just too doggone easy to do the right thing for these folks. I'm not saying a bunch of them, I doubt that they will, but it does not negate the fact that the impeachment hearing will be going forward tomorrow. It'll make for good TV, I guess, and even some spirited discussion around the table or in your Zoom chats, your Duo chats, or whatever. But do not take your eye off the ball. We have still got to remember all of those senators who either signed on to bogus legislation to overthrow a free and fair election, or came back into the chamber after the insurrection and still voted to overturn a free and fair election. Those are names that we cannot afford to forget. But right now, I think the priority is the relief package. And we need to call our elected officials and encourage them to support that, to go to the wall with it, to not back down. The filibuster is gone. So a simple majority, and I don't know if they can continue to do it over and over and over again. I believe that there is a limitation on the amount of times that it can be done, but I'm sure the major in Texas, my political science expert who has taught at the University of Texas in El Paso, and who's taught at every level in education, the history, the civics, and the government in our country. So again, if I'm wrong, he will correct me and I will come back to you. But as it stands now, this bill, as I'm understanding, once it is presented, because Biden has talked to folks on the other side of the aisle who wanted to cut the 1.9 trillion with the T dollar bill down to 600 billion. And they don't want to give the states who have used probably, I'm wondering how states are staying afloat, quite frankly, because they got absolutely no help from the federal government for 4 years. Well, for 2 years at least. Well, really for 4 years, but for 2 years during the pandemic, they've had to use whatever resources they could scrounge up in their state to keep the state afloat. And they want to cut that out of the bill. I don't get it, but you know, I just have never been real good at trying to understand stupid, and I'm not going to try to get good at it now. All I want to do is to continue to encourage you guys, is to remember that no person shall be a senator or a representative in Congress if they take part in an insurrection. We got the names, and we can get access to the numbers and the emails. Again, I will encourage you, if you don't know the names, inbox me your email. I will send you my list. And I would encourage you to call 5 of your friends, to have them call their representatives in support of that rescue bill, that $1.9 trillion bill, as well as insisting on accountability for every butt that's sitting in a seat in either chamber of our Congress, in the House chamber or the Senate chamber, and demand that they got to go. They know they're wrong. A couple of them have even admitted it. They knew what they were doing when they did it. They just thought that Trump and his cronies were going to get away with it. And just kind of as an aside, by the way, the FBI now says after they have taken and I'm going to say a survey, for lack of a better word, of the folks that they've already arrested, not nay one of their asses voted. How about that? But anyway, I digress. But please, continue to call your United States senators. Continue to call your United States House of Representative member, and continue to tell your friends to do the same, and to tell their friends to call 5 of their folks to do the same, and so on and so on. And we've got to do this every day, people. We have got to keep the pressure on. That is our job as United States citizens. So with that, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, I'm going to see y'all later on today, because I got to read my Black History stuff for you and your kids. But just needed you guys to know that. Be mindful that nobody's going to save us but us. It's our responsibility, as President Barack Obama said, to be a citizen and to know our duties and responsibilities therein. I'm wondering too, and I know I'm kind of jumping here, how many books have been read in the past year in your house? You ain't got to answer. Just think about that. How many of you guys sat down with your kids and read the preamble, the Declaration, and the Constitution? We had a year to do that. Your kids should be real clear on that right now. And if you haven't done it, that's part of our Black history. You need to do it. This is A21 from Black Rose's Garden, and yes, I will be back, but with some Black history later on today. I'm out.